It's time for class!
Seatbelts, everyone! Please let this be a normal field trip. With a friend? No way!
Cruising on down Main Street, you're relaxed and feeling good. Next thing that you know, you see it. What's in the neighborhood? Surfing on the sound wave, swinging through the stars. Take a left at human testing. Take your second right past Mars on the magic scuba. Alligator nostril. Climb on the magic scuba. Spank a plankton too. On our magic scuba. Stop the river of lava. On magic scuba. Such a fine thing to do. So strap your bones right to the seat. Come on in and don't be shy. Just to make your day complete. You might get baked into a pie on the magic scuba. Step inside, it's a wild ride. Come on, ride on the magic scuba.
Today we are going to be visiting a special friend of mine named Maryanna, and she's going to be teaching us a little bit about Minnesota Native American art. So I'm really excited. My little bear, Bitsy Bear, is here, as well as another little friend. It's a little porcupine that I'm going to name Gagoons for the time being. All right, they're going to come and sit over here and learn something. I think they're ready.
Bonjour, Miss Mina.
Bonjour, Maryanna. Bonjour,
Bonjour, Bitsy. Bonjour, Gagoons. See? Bonjour, Magenta.
Hey.
Hi!
Bonjour, Emerson students. My name is Maryanna. Maryanna Indigenicas. Gazagasqua Jamaica Gindunjiba. I'm from the Leech Lake Band and of Minnesota Ojibwe. And let's see, Ogishki Manasi Nindudam. My clan is Kingfisher. And I've known Miss Mina for a long time, and I'm happy to meet all of you.
All right, so you know those beautiful earrings that you gave to me that are made from birch bark and porcupine quill and beadwork? I think those are just so elegant and beautiful. I showed Magenta earlier, and I wanted to have the students meet you because you're the maker, and also maybe you could teach us a little bit more about birch bark and porcupine quill artwork.
Sure. So students may have seen birch trees when they're out and about. They have very smooth, whitish bark, and they sometimes grow in clumps. And I have a piece of their wood right here, you know, if you cut a slice of a branch off, and you can see both the bark and the inside of the tree, the wood. And as you can see, the bark is very smooth, but sometimes it has some rough patches, and it's also very thin. And here is a piece that came off of a tree. It's kind of curled, but normally this would be the inside of the tree and this would be the outside of the tree. And then it can be peeled into layers. So you have layers that peel away from the tree. Now I have something very exciting. These are porcupine quills. And porcupines are animals that move very slowly. And the creator gave them these quills to provide defense. So the quills are very sharp and they can actually stick in you. Once they're in you, it's worse than a sliver because you can't pull it out easily. There's a little hook at the end. And so here is some fur. These were collected from a porcupine that died. And so you have some of its fur and you have its quills. When you trim off the ends, they're kind of like a straw filled with sponginess inside. So they're kind of hollow, but not exactly hollow. Here's one that is trimmed off, so you can see the ends too. Actually, this is nice because you're not going to get them stuck in your finger.
Oh, that's wonderful. So all of the ends of these, the prickly ends, have been taken off, so I don't have to be too careful while I'm feeling around in here. But whereas with these ones are still really, really sharp, so we've got to be careful when we're grabbing them.
Exactly.
Good job for sorting them, Maryanna.
Thank you. Quills can be used different ways to decorate items. One of the easiest ways is when the ends are trimmed off. If you take a very small needle, you can just put it through there and use it like a bead.
Because the quill of the porcupine is hollow, so you can stick a string all the way through here and make things out of it.
Exactly.
Like a really long bead.
Or you can cut it into smaller beads if you want it. You can cut it to just the right size you want. A lot of American Indian decoration and artwork is done with beads. And porcupine quills were available long before beads came into the possession of native tribes. So these are the first beads, or maybe not the first, but much older and used for a much longer time. They are still used today by a lot of people. And then we can look over here at some of the ways that they're used. So this is a hair barrette. If you look on the back, it has a regular barrette, some leather, and on the front, in the back, you can see this is the birch bark. And on top of the birch bark is a design of quills. And this one has some extra decorations. It has some dyed sweetgrass, and it's sewn on with sinew.
Which is made from deer.
It's made from deer. If you ever take a bite of meat, sometimes there's some stringy things in there, tendons and other things that aren't easy to chew, that aren't really things that you would eat. Deer along their backs have sinew that's holding their muscles together. When you're preparing a deer to be eaten, you can harvest also, besides the meat, you can harvest the sinew, and then you can split it into tiny threads. Sometimes Native Americans sewed with roots too, or strong plant fibers. This just happens to be from the deer. And it's not so different from what other people do. If you look at the rocking chair that Bitsy is on, it has a plant material that makes a kind of a cushion, a sewn spot for them to sit. Okay, and this is a little birch bark box. Again, the edges are sewn with sinew. You could see along there. And the bottom. And this edge has little beads on it. And the top. There are the quills, and these are all natural quills. So you can see these ones are all sewn on. The thread comes up through the birch bark. You can't see it because someone has put an extra piece in there. But comes up, goes across, and you can see the thread comes out and goes down, and then the next one is on. And I'm really excited to have you here today because this is something that I also do on my own. Here is a star that I made out of a birch bark strip. It's a strip of very thin bark, and it's folded to make this three-dimensional star. And the different colors of the birch bark make their own pattern.
How long did it take you to make that, Maryanna?
I had someone showing me, and it probably took less than an hour.
Wow.
How long did it take for you to make the turtle hair clip?
All right, I made this turtle. This probably took me maybe 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, and when do you wear that clip? Because that seems like that's a pretty special piece, in my opinion.
I should wear it more.
Can you put it on for us now?
I can. So this one is made differently. The quills don't have a thread through the middle. I use this tool called an awl. A-W-L, awl. Wow. And it's essentially just a nail, a very sharp nail with a handle. And you can use it to poke a hole in the birch bark.
And
But yes, you pull if you have a smaller hole, you can pull the needle through and then, pull the quill through and make another hole. And these are sharp quills.
Yeah,
so.
don't poke yourself.
And then make another hole and it goes in there. Oops, I broke it. It's nice if they're softened in water. But so you put it in there, you'd pull it out the back, and then it would stay by itself because the sponginess of the quill would expand to the little hole and it would hold itself in. So if you look at this barrette, you can sort of see that the quills themselves, you don't see any thread. They go down into the birch bark. So Miss Mina, do you remember when we were in college together?
Yes.
And what
Yeah.
and we took Ojibwe language.
Minogishigod. Gunongom. Sorry, that's today. That I was just saying today's a good day.
Yeah.
I can't remember how to say it was a good time back then.
Yeah. Ojibwe is a difficult language and there's a lot to remember. And some people are really good. You teach at a school where people know different languages very well.
They do.
But I'm still an Ojibwe language learner.
So teach us a few words of Ojibwe. Ojibwe.
So do you remember how to say bear?
Makwa.
Makwa. Right. And the way to say little bear, like Bitsy, would be you put an ending on makwa to make it smaller.
Makuns.
Makuns. And it kind of has a sound up in your nose. Makuns.
Makuns.
Right. And do you remember how to say, this is a very easy word to say, porcupine.
Gag.
Gog. It's a very, very, even babies can say it. Gog, gog. So, and then to say a little porcupine.
Gagoons.
Right, to make that sound up in your nose. Gagoons. Yeah. And because I don't remember the word for birch bark, I just want to let everyone know that it's okay not to know things. Not anyone can know everything. And so it's important to say, I can find that out. I can learn that. And so I can check on what to say, how to say birch bark. I can ask someone who knows. And then we'll all learn together. But for now, I forgot it. And that's okay. Bye-bye, Emerson students. Gigawabamininim. Goodbye to you all. And it's been so nice to see you today. And remember, I have a big sign here that culture matters. And this is my culture, Ojibwe, and I'm so happy I got to share it with you. See you later. See you later, Miss Mina.
Gigawamin nagash.
Gagoons! 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 Gagoons!
Macoons.
Raccoons!
Macoons, macoons, macoons. Now you say it.